Welcome to Brothers Talking Sports. I'm your host, Scosser. Here are my co-host, Shea, today. How we doing, Shea?
Good, but I'm tired.
Good?
Good.
All right. That's pretty good. Max is not here again today. He has something called school.
Imagine being in school.
Yeah, what a loser. But he's in school today, so when we're filming this. So unfortunately, he's not with us.
I think you meant fortunately.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, we will get some always weird remarks, or we'll get off topic on him ranting about how Russell Westbrook is the greatest player of all time.
Because he is.
Well, again, that's your guys' stupid opinion. All right, so first let's talk about the NBA playoffs here, as the Lakers are now up 3-2. The Heat are up 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
The Nuggets are up 3-2. Right? Are they? Again, we're not prepared.
No, 3-1. Nuggets are up 3-1.
Nuggets are up 3-1.
Wait, no, they're not. They're up 3-2.
Okay, I was right. The Nuggets are up
3-2.
3-2.
Nuggets are up 3-2. Yes. 3-2.
And
the Phillies also up 3-2.
And Philly's up 3-2. So every game is in 6 series. I think every game is the NBA playoffs have been pretty exciting so far, but I feel like very predictable. As the Knicks and the Warriors both extended their series last night.
I actually thought Miami was going to win last night.
No.
I was pretty sure the Warriors were going to win back at home. I actually thought Miami was going to win. And Miami had a couple opportunities late on in the game where they cut it down to like 2 and then 1, and then it was just they couldn't hit. I watched Jimmy miss a free throw, and the Knicks just kind of then pulled away a little bit.
Quentin Grimes with a nice steal with a couple.
Yeah.
He was hobbling, and then he's like, "Oop, I'm gonna take that one from you, Jimmy." The announcer goes, "Cookies!"
Yeah.
I was like,
I know, we were out to eat, and we heard that, and thought it was funny.
That was freaking great. I loved it. But again, the big Knicks win. One of my parlays hit last night with LeBron. He was supposed to, it was over under 25.5. LeBron scored 25. I took the under. So that hit for me, which is pretty nice. Yeah, but Philly up 3-2. I mean, are we surprised here? This is probably the most shocking one, I would assume.
That Philly's up, I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I really thought, like I said, I thought Boston was my favorite to win the finals, and now I think Philly's going to win this series. If every time Harden this series has played fine, they've won.
Yeah.
The 2 games they lost is because he played absolutely awful and shot like a combined like 5 for 20 something. He was terrible. So I don't know, Boston might be able to win. Well, actually, no, it's going back to Philly. So
yeah, it goes back to Philly tonight.
Tonight, yeah. Actually, Philly might be able to pull that one out. It could get a little scary though if Boston does take this game and then he goes back to Boston for 7. For the the Suns series. Suns is tonight, Game 6. The Denver Nuggets have not lost a home game in the playoffs this series.
Oh.
So
I don't think Phoenix has enough to do it.
It's looking scary. If Phoenix can win tonight, but then they got to go back to Denver for Game 7. So I think Denver's going to win that series. And you should apologize to Nikola Jokic because
No.
that guy. Because that guy is...
When the Lakers beat him, I will not be apologizing.
All right, because that guy's phenomenal, what he's doing.
Yes, but when Anthony Davis comes in and he drops 10 points on 30 shots, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Anthony Davis is going to lock that man down.
Okay, he won't, but all right. Underrated player in the playoffs this year, though. Devin Booker has been phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, him and Kevin Durant just carried.
Yeah, I mean, he went on a 2-game stretch where he had 80-something points and shot 70% or something.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. He didn't have the greatest game the other night in Game 5. He probably had like 20-something points, but only on like 40-something% shooting, so not as good as he had been, but he's been very good. Chris Paul's just been terrible when he's played.
Yeah, he's been injured for most of the time. DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, when he's played, he's been terrible.
DeAndre Ayton's really bad. I really don't care about the Suns Nuggets.
I think but I think the Nuggets are gonna win that, and we'll see where that goes. And I said this at the midseason. I said the Nuggets are a good team. Don't sleep on the Nuggets. They went in that bad slump where they weren't playing so good, but now playoff time, they're back on track and playing well. So they're the 1 seed for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into the topic of the show now. AFC East review. All right, so I guess we'll start off with the losses and the people which each team has gained and lost. So we'll start off with the Bills. I would say the Bills' biggest addition were Damian Harris, Connor McGovern, and David Edwards from the Rams. They didn't really gain anybody. They didn't really lose anybody. I mean, this team is going to be the same team. Essentially, they re-signed Matt Milano, Jordan Poyer, Nakeem Hines. They have a lot of the same guys back.
And they got to be healthy. That's the thing, too. Obviously, with secondary injuries last year, going into the playoffs and whatnot, this is a very good Bills team that is going to be able to compete and contend just like they did last year. They just got to get over that hump. That's really it for them.
Yeah, this is a Bills team I think is very good, but I think this is the year we start to see the downfall of them. I don't think they're the 1 seed this year in their division. I think their division is way too good, and I don't think they're the 1 seed. And so that means you're going to be playing in the wild card, and that means you're going to be on the road. And it means Josh Allen's going to be on the road. And unless you're playing which you very well could be playing the AFC South, which is probably most likely, it's still not an easy matchup anytime you're on the road in the playoffs. So we'll see. But like I said, I don't think this team's the 1 seed this year just because of how better the division got. Because the division got very good. I think this is top 3 division of football, probably number 2, number 1.
Yeah, I mean, this division, all these teams can make the playoffs this year. And you got New England probably going to be the worst team in this playoff series, in this division. And you got Bill Belichick as their coach with a defense that is going to play very well. And if they can run the ball, that's a solid Patriots team. But this Bills team is too electric offensively when they're on. Josh Allen, could throw the ball like crazy, and this team could score points in matters of seconds. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen's big problem is he needs to stop turning the ball over. He does it once or twice every single game, and it kills them, especially in big games. You can't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
It's really, really hurting them.
I mean, you have really good teams like the Bengals and the Chiefs. They don't turn the ball over. And when they do have the ball, they're very efficient. They score about, I want to say 70% of the time. They're getting at least 3 points. And sometimes the Bills come away with nothing at the end of your drive. So, again, we will see what happens with the Bills and, their offense and everything like that.
I wonder if the Bills take that next step in and start to develop that run game a little bit more. That's really what I'm wondering. Because every year they don't run the ball very much because they're not very great at it. Their run game is, all right, Josh, take the ball and just run it yourself. You're 250 pounds, run up the middle with it. So I'm curious to see if they try and elevate their run game a little bit because you have to be able to do both in this in the league. You can't just be a one-dimensional team.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the passing game take off, but teams are starting to figure it out. And if you can't run the ball and teams don't need to stack the box as much, it can kind of sit back in coverage and wait for a guy like Josh Allen to make that mistake. It's beneficial for them. I think that's why the Bengals really kind of beat up on them last year in the AFC divisional game.
Yeah. Again, on the road, they were able to win a big game against the Bills and, again, head to the AFC Championship game.
And I don't doubt the Bills defensively. I think the Bills defense is going to be good. They got talent everywhere on that defense. Sure. D-line, they can rush the passer. Secondary is solid. So I don't doubt their ability defensively. I just don't know if when it comes to the time where they need to win, if Josh Allen could not turn the ball over and they can continue to score.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, so let's get into the Miami Dolphins here. Their biggest move this year, or in the offseason, was acquiring Jalen Ramsey from the Rams. Other notable ones, Tyler Rapp from the Rams, David Long from the Titans, but not any two big names really acquiring, keeping most of their guys. But they did lose a big name in Mike Gesicki, their tight end.
I don't think that's going to hurt them too much, though, because with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in the offense, he got, significantly less, involved significantly less in the offense last year with the addition of Tyreek Hill. I think Miami's going to try and run the ball now. This more. They got they re-signed both the running backs in Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. So I think they're going to try and run it and use those guys to get the ball too.
Yeah.
The question is, how is Tua going to stay healthy, and how good is he going to be when he's healthy? Because start of the season last year, people said this guy's the best quarterback playing like the best quarterback in the league right now. They were on fire. They were scoring like crazy. And he showed signs that he could really play in a good system, make the right throws, and let his weapons do a lot of the work. However, injuries hurt him really last year. And then I saw times too where he, like when I watched him against the Packers in the second half, he turned the ball over 3 times. Like he was terrible. He struggled. So what version of Tua are we gonna get? This is a team that has potential to be very, very good, and also a team that has potential to not be as good as people think they're gonna be.
Yeah, no, I think like I said, Skylar Thompson almost beat the Bills last year in the playoffs. So we have to think about now what can Tua do, and if Tua can be just a not a hair fraction, but a decently bit better. I think this Dolphins team has ways to go in this NFL season. Again, when we get to the predictions, I think this team is loaded from top to bottom, defensively, offensively. This is a team with almost no holes. When you look at it, around it, I think they have a really good head coach. I think people don't want to talk about Mike McDaniels enough, but he's one of the best, I think, head coaches out there.
Yeah, he's a very talented young offensive mind. Like I said, their offensive scheme is very good. Even if he makes Tua, who might not be the most athletic or makes the craziest throws, but he gets guys open. And he's got receivers that are very good, and he gets guys down 15 yards down the field in open spots for Tua to just put the ball on them.
Yeah.
And they can do it. It's just like I said, how much can Tua elevate this Miami Dolphins team? He's got one of the best left tackles in the league in Teron Armstead, so he's not going to have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
We go on the defensive side of the ball. This is a team it's a solid defensive team. Secondary-wise now, this might be the best cornerback trio.
Yeah.
In the league with Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, and Byron Jones too, right?
Yeah.
So I think this defensively they got a lot better, and this is a team that has potential to be very, very good.
Yeah, definitely have a lot of potential. Miami obviously didn't have first round picks, so they didn't really do too much.
Yeah, that was big for them. If they could have gotten that first round pick and gotten.
God, maybe one of those tight ends. You're probably not going to use them, but hey, you could have replaced Mike Gesicki now with somebody, but you couldn't. So now the Patriots, who actually gained Mike Gesicki, Patriots got Mike Gesicki. They got Juju Smith, James Robinson, Riley Reif from the Bears, who's notable, but that's about it. And they lost Juwan Smith, who they traded to the Falcons, Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, Damian Harris, and Devin McCourty retired. So, listen, I think when you add Mike Gesicki and Juju, I think this team's actually going to be pretty good this year. But, again, unfortunately, the AFC East is loaded. And it's going to be tough to win those in-division games. I think they could steal one from the Jets at home. I think they could steal one from maybe the Bills and the Dolphins at home, but it's going to be tough, man. These games are not gimmies anymore for New England. It isn't like back like it was in 2015 beyond then. So this is tough for New England, and we'll see.
I think with New England, they lost a bunch of guys on offense. They got a decent amount of them back. I'm not worried about this team on the defensive side of the ball because they got arguably the best coach in Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
They already had a solid defense. They had a great draft.
Yeah.
Getting Christian Gonzalez from Oregon, and then they got Keon White out of Georgia Tech, I believe, to add to the already solid defense. So I think this defense is going to be very, very good. It's just how good is this offense and Mac Jones going to be? We know it's a run-heavy offense. They're going to give the ball to Ramondre Stevenson as much as they can. Get him as many carries as he can get. Make Mac Jones throw the ball as little as possible. But if he needs to throw the ball, hopefully he's got Juju now. He's got Mike Gesicki. He can make those couple throws that he needs. That's all this Patriots team needs. Play solid defensively, good special teams unit, and just score enough points.
Yeah.
And be able to run the ball, take those couple of long drives maybe against those really good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
This team doesn't need to put up 30 points a game to win like some other teams. They just need to be able to score enough and trust that their solid defense is going to be able to play well.
I think the one thing that people aren't talking about is that Matt Patricia is now no longer their offensive coordinator. I think he was so bad for them that he literally lost them games. I thought he was terrible. So Matt Patricia is gone. The defensive coordinator, turned offensive coordinator for the Patriots is gone. So, we'll see. I'm not sure who their new OC is. I want to say Bill O'Brien, but I really could be wrong.
Yes. I feel like you're right on that.
Or Bill O'Brien was the heavy rumored, and I'm pretty sure he was the one, but just fact check that on me. But New England, again, I think Mac Jones is better than a lot of people give him shit for, because a lot of people shit on Mac Jones, and I think that he's a lot better than people say. But again, I think this Patriots team has a uphill battle that is very tough, especially because of just how good the division is, man. This division is loaded.
Yeah, it is Bill O'Brien.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
That's the problem with them. It's a tough. However, they could beat the Jets twice.
Yeah.
Because it's just one of those. That's those rivalries that the Patriots always beat the Jets. It's just how it's been. But yeah, they go through a tough division.
Yeah.
But they're another team, man. I don't know if I don't see them winning the championship, whole thing, but they could get into the playoffs. Like they could be like a 10-7 team and get into the playoffs just because they have it's a solid roster still, no matter what.
And when we talk about every single team, we don't account for injuries for every single team. So again, the Jets could be banged up towards the end of the season. New England, like Buffalo, could be banged up, and there comes the Patriots swooping right in because every team's down and injured, and we've seen it every year. One team gets demoralized with injuries, and they just have a horrible season. We'll look at the Rams last year. Matthew Stafford goes down, Cooper Kupp goes down, and now you're starting Baker Mayfield and Van Jefferson out there as your one receiver and one quarterback. So again, replacement guys in football are bigger than anything, and we'll see how good each NFL team does with this. But that leads us into the Jets, and I think this is the biggest one to talk about, as they obviously got Aaron Rodgers, Alan Lazard, McCole Hardman, Chuck Clark from the Ravens. That's a good signing there. Wes Schlessler from the Commanders. Re-signed most of their guys, and really didn't get rid of anybody besides Elijah Moore and James Robinson, but I don't think those were too big losses for them.
You forgot Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb wasn't on my list. I'm sorry. Yes, he was another addition.
I don't like this Jets team. They took away all the Packers, and now we're gone. They all went to the Jets.
Should just become a Jets fan until Aaron Rodgers leaves.
Right? I'm gonna go to a Jets game this year.
Really?
Yeah, at least one. No, this is a team where you could just take a giant question mark and put it right there, because talent-wise, this team could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because they were good, and their roster was so good last year, besides the quarterback position, and now they filled that with one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So, how good is Rodgers going to be? I don't know. Is he going to play like he was in his MVP seasons? Is he going to struggle? Who knows? He's 39 years old. He's getting old. However, I don't even think he needs to be phenomenal for this team to win the whole thing, because their roster, while it is young, so lacking experience, I think they have the talent to be the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, no, they definitely do have the talent. I mean, we look around the roster. I don't think there's as many holes you can find, but I think it's going to come down to quarterback play, but not just so much quarterback play, also your offensive line play. You know, I don't think they know who's going to be playing right tackle for them. As I still think they're trying to figure that out. Mekhi Becton, how is he going to come back from injury this year?
Is he going to stay healthy?
Can he stay healthy? Also, I think this team that nobody's talking about is playoff experience. Nobody has playoff experience on this team besides Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's a very, very young
Jets team.
The only experience you're getting from them is the Packers players that came over, like Rodgers, Allen Lazard, and Randall Cobb.
That's it.
Like the only guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you got it's just this team is. So the Jets haven't made the playoffs in 13 years or something like that now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so
it's been a while.
But I mean, you go down the board. This team is just talent. Breece Hall was explosive before he got hurt last year. So as long as he comes back, playing like he could last year, that's gonna be great for the Jets. Receiving wise, they lost Elijah Moore, but they still have Garrett Wilson, first round pick last year. They have Corey Davis, first round pick a few years ago from the Titans. Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, McCole Hardman is a burner they added. So weapons-wise, they got every type of pretty much every type of receiver they can get. They got size, they got speed, they got route running, they got everything they can get. Offensive lines should be okay. I don't think they're going to be fantastic. That's probably the weakest point of this Jets team, but I think they can get the job done.
Yeah, it would have been real nice to get
if they could have drafted a Broderick Jones.
Yeah, Broderick Jones.
Yeah, that would have been nice for them. Patriots made a good move there, trading back in the draft.
Yeah, real good move.
To not let them get it, let the Steelers get him. But defense. I mean, we go to the defensive side of the ball, and I mean, defensive line, Quinnen Williams. I mean, it's tough to run on this team. Secondary wise, Sauce Gardner, defensive rookie of the year, top 5 corner in the league, pretty much. I mean, you know, this team, talent wise, is phenomenal, and definitely has the potential to be the best team in the league. I think the big question now comes: how good of a head coach is Robert Saleh?
I was just about to say.
And I think that's the biggest question. How good of a coach is Robert Saleh really? Now, we know who their offensive coordinator is now, and Nathaniel Hackett, who was the offensive coordinator for the Packers in those 2 seasons that Rodgers won his MVP, and then he left last year, this past season, to go suck in Denver. But now he's back, so that could be big for the Jets and Rodgers. But I think Robert Saleh is the big one. How good of a head coach is he? And we'll really see that this year.
Yeah. No, we will see that this year, and I think Nathaniel Hackett will be fine. But again, Robert Saleh, you know, we haven't seen a lot from him. We've kind of just seen, you know, what he's able to do with you know, his pieces that he's had. But again, now you have the quarterback. What can you do with the good quarterback? So again, we really have to see what he's all about at this point, and we're gonna find out exactly what Robert Saleh is all about, and how he'll handle situations. Again, how he'll handle situations in the fourth quarter, and all that. This is Robert Saleh's make or break year. If he misses the playoffs this year.
Yeah, here's the thing, because I think you got Rodgers. He's got this year or next year on his contract. Yeah. So I feel like that could be it for him. He might be done after that. Like, I give him 2 years, and he's probably gone.
Because if you don't win a chip in the next 2 years, you're gone.
Yeah, so this could be a thing where it's like, see how they do this year. If Robert Saleh is truly not good, they ship him out of there. They bring in someone
offensive-minded, probably.
Yeah, or just someone that Rodgers likes, or an older, or pretty much, I would think an older guy with experience. Yeah. Not some younger head coach.
But whatchamacallit, I also... Like how long is Rodgers on this team? That's another question. How long?
I think 2 years.
I think 2 years.
This year and next year, and I think once his contract's up, he's done.
Yeah.
Because he's not a guy who's going to play like Tom Brady till he's 45, 46 years old.
No.
He's on the books. He's got a lot of money coming in, so he's going to want to get all that money he can get. But I don't know if he'll play after that, because I don't know how much money he'll want and how much money anybody like the Jets will be willing to give him.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a wild year for the Jets football.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if this works out for the Jets and they go on and they can win a Super Bowl, I mean, that's unbelievable. Jets fans will be ecstatic for years. They don't care what they gave up. I mean, they would give up anything to win a Super Bowl or so.
Exactly.
They just want to see their team back in the playoffs and having a fighting chance, and all the jokes now that Rodgers can't lose in the NFC Championship game because he doesn't have to play in it because it's the AFC Championship game now.
He's still losing that one, buddy.
But he's never played in this one before, so
he gets still losing that one. All right, so let's get into our predictions on 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll start off with number 4, Shea. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the New England Patriots.
Okay.
I think they'll finish 8-9 or 9-8.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go 8-9 for them, and it has nothing to do. It's just because of sheer just playing in a rough division. It's going to be tough to win a lot of those divisional games, which are big ones.
Yeah. Again, my 4 team is New England, and I think they could jump up to all the way up to number 2. But unfortunately, their roster is not as deep as some of the other teams in this division, and unfortunately, somebody's got to be number 4, and it's going to be New England. Number 3.
Yeah. I think number 3 is definitely Miami. I'll give the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins will go 10-7 this year, and I think they'll get into the playoffs. Probably as like the last team in. Like they'll probably get the 7 seed at like 10-7.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because, like I said, this team has, like I said, talent and whatnot, but I think you're not going to get a consistent Tua playing amazing every single game. He's going to be bad some games, and they're going to lose those games.
Yeah, this is where we start to really disbreak from each other in predictions. This number 3 seed is going to be the New York Jets. I think they struggled throughout early on. I think they'll find themselves later on in the year, but early on, I think we've seen it with teams before in their first. We'll see quarterbacks in their first couple games of the new team. I think that this is the first year of trying to win a championship with the Jets, and I think they'll probably make the playoffs. But I don't think the Jets will be very good early on in the season. They'll unfortunately have to try to make it up in the second half of the season to find their ways, and we'll see. But I think the Jets are the number 3 team. Number 2.
New England Jets will be the number 2 team.
New England Jets.
New York Jets will be the number 2 seed, going 11-6. And I agree with you that they'll probably struggle early on. However, I think one big thing you're forgetting with this Jets team is that they finished last in the division last year. Mm-hmm. So they do get to play the 4th place schedule in the division, which is easier opponents, obviously. So that's a couple more games that they can definitely win. And I think they will struggle early, but I think they'll find their mark. And I think 11-6 is a fair mark for them. Because, like I said, they have the talent. They have Aaron Rodgers. And I think that should get them like the 5 seed. They'll get the top wild card spot.
Yeah.
And have to go play probably the AFC South. Go to somewhere to Jacksonville most likely and have to go play for the first round.
Yeah. Number 2. No, we just did number 3.
No, I did my number 3. I did my number 2. You're on
number. I'm on number 2. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
My number 2 is the Buffalo Bills.
Wow.
I think
you're one of those guys.
I am one of those guys.
I hate you even more now. Why? You've seen him play. He's bad. He's not good.
We'll get to the Dolphins in a second. We'll get to him in a second. Listen, I think this is the downfall the year of the Bills. I think the Bills still have a very good roster, a very good team. But I think this is where we start to see that Sean McDermott isn't the best head coach. And he's probably not. He's probably going to get first rounded in the playoffs maybe this year if you don't get the 1 seed. Right? I could see it. But I think that, the Bills still have Josh Allen, and they still have Stephon Diggs, and they still have loads of talent on this team. But I think we're going to start to see coaching and turnovers take this team over, and they're still going to have a very high record, probably at least 12 wins, but Are they going to be the team that we've seen that made the AFC divisional game? Sure, I think they could still get there, but I just don't think it's. I think this is. I just don't see it, man. I don't see the Bills getting to the point where they used to be. Listen, somebody's got to come in first, second, and last. I just don't think the Bills are the team that cuts in first.
So I think the Bills will win the division again. I think they'll go 12-5 and win this division. We've seen them play well in the regular season. They dominate some games. They do have they have some tough opponents. They have to go to the Chargers, to the Chiefs, and to the Bengals. So that's 3 tough away games for them. So yeah, they definitely have some tough opponents they have to play. But while this Bills team struggles in the playoffs, we've seen this team. I mean, I've seen them dominate regular season games, and Josh Allen just slings the ball around. They could score points like crazy, and I think they're still the best team in the division. They didn't lose anybody where it's like, oh, this team's taking a big hit or anything. It's pretty much the same team as last year. They were good last year. I think they'll be the same, pretty similar to what they were last year. Maybe a little. They lost to the Jets last year, actually, in the playing against them, so it could be the same thing for them this year. But yeah, I think this Bills team wins the division. However, I don't know if they'll be the furthest going AFC East team in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. Again, Miami's at number 1 for me. Listen, it's not that I think Miami is the best team. I think that the Bills are going to fall down, right? Again, I don't think they have the best roster. I think the Bills have the best roster. But when it comes to, I think the Dolphins put it all together this year. I think their defense is going to be a top 10 defense in the league, and their offense is already explosive as hell with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Listen, they got Bradley Chubb from the Broncos, correct? Right, that's who they got in the trade last year for the Broncos. Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
They got Bradley Chubb in in the last couple of games. Now he's got a full season, a full off season to get this with this team. Jalen Ramsey is now going to be the number 1 corner. So that leaves less pressure on Xavier Howard to make big plays for them and be the big play corner for them. Well, now I do see Tua as probably the biggest question mark on this team, right? Because if Tua doesn't play well, you're probably looking around 7 to 8 wins if he plays bad, right? Skylar Thompson almost beat the Bills in the playoffs. So now we have to think, if Tua can just be just a little bit better than Skylar Thompson, I think this Dolphins team could take off. And as long as he stays healthy, as long as Tua stays healthy and plays good football, man, I don't see anywhere where this Dolphins team doesn't go very far in the playoffs and the regular season.
Yeah, I hate Tua. It's just nothing against the kid. He's just not as good of a quarterback. And against good teams, he played a couple all right last year, but I've watched him. He's not that good. He's just not the most talented quarterback, and you can't win this division with him being your quarterback, and it just won't happen.
I think you can. I really do think you can. Just look at the roster around him. I think that the roster is good enough.
The roster is very good, but so is the Bills roster and the Jets roster. And what do those two teams have over the Dolphins? The quarterback. And that's the big decider.
Sure, they have the quarterback. I mean, there's some divisions out there that, hey, there are quarterbacks that are, better, and they fall down. But I think that Tua is probably, I would say, around your mid quarterback, to maybe a little bit above if he plays at the highest level, right? But I think this roster elevates him, and I think that he has a phenomenal year. Tyreek Hill opens up the offense so much as well, and Tua has it a lot easier with Tyreek Hill. But again, we'll see what happens in this AFC East. It's a loaded AFC East with a lot of great teams, and we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's probably the most interesting division, if not number 2, in football this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting to watch all these teams play. I mean, it's gonna be great because we know the Jets already are on prime time. They're on Monday night. They're on Monday night, week 1.
At least 4.
Yeah, they're going to be on prime time so much. The Jets. It's a New York team. They got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
They're going to be on prime time a bunch. So it's going to be fun to watch. You know, the Bills are always going to be on prime time because they're good. So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch all these teams throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially because they're all competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple injuries can turn this division around so easily.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's podcast. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next time.